Hello everyone, today's poem is Daya, 卷e or 劝e, Part 2, a poem from the Book of Songs. In the Part 1 video, we have introduced the background of this poem, and very likely this poem was a real history event which could be confirmed by a very ancient history book, 竹书纪年, and we also analyze the title, 卷e, the meaning and how to pronounce it. So it's very likely it's from the local dialect. Well, at the time of the Zhou dynasty, that's the official language. That's the language spoken in the capital by the Zhou people. So the local dialect today will read as 劝e, and in Mandarin it's 劝e. Okay, let's continue with the sixth paragraph. 永永昂昂，如规如章，令闻令望. So in the fifth paragraph, is talking about the pride, wonderful and mighty laws. They have a tour in their ancestral hometown, in the place which was so called as Zhou Yuan, just like the map. So the sixth paragraph continues to describe those outstanding pride laws. Yong refers to the head, a big head. Ang, which describing that's with a very high spirits, and Yong Yong Ang Ang actually describing the laws are with very high spirits, very outstanding, and they have a big head. The big head actually, the big is always a very, very good value in the Zhou dynasty. So they like to call anything big as a good thing, which means it's a good thing or good man. And so the people with a big head also has two implications. First thing first, this one is great, is outstanding, and the head, which actually implies this is referring to the laws. The laws is the head of the people, right? So Yong Yong Ang Ang, with just simple description of their appearance, it also has a lot of the implications by these words. 如规如章, Gui and Zhang are two jade articles. Gui is a very important jade article used in rituals. So it was used to represent the power and the land, the asset of a lord. And Zhang is quite similar to the shape of Gui. It's half of the shape of that Gui. So very likely Gui is the article for the senior laws, and Zhang is the article used by the junior laws. And there's a very popular word we still use today, 弄璋, which means a new born boy. So this originates from the Zhou dynasty because the jade only belongs to the lord. When they have a new boy, they will give the new boy a piece of jade. So that was the zhang, and finally it becomes a alternative term to refer to a newborn boy, not girl. Girl has another name. So in the later generations, when the officers attend to the court, the central court, they will take a piece of jade, gui, and so that will represent the rank, the level of his position. Also, they can write something on that piece of jade, gui, to give them a reminder when they have something to discuss in the royal central court. They can read on the reminders on that piece of jade, gui. So that's a very, very important article in the ancient China. So 如章, 如规如章 actually is used the most important, most royal articles to simulate, to parallel to those laws. Those laws are the people who are equal to those jade articles, gui and zhang. 令文令望. So those laws, they are very, very good listeners, and they are very, very good watchers. They watch the people, they watch their duty very carefully. 令文, which means to do the things, to listen. 令望 means to do the things, to watch. So they listen to the people and watch the public. Watch the people is a key responsibility for laws. It's the essential skills for laws. With these two skills, you will be a smart man. So in Chinese, 聪明 doesn't means you are very smart in your brain. It means you look something very clearly. And that's 明, and 聪明 means you listen everything very clearly. That's 聪. So that 聪明 actually is the result. You have the capability. You are very skillful when you listen to the people, when you watch oversee the people. So this sentence, 庸庸昂昂，如规如章，令文令望, is describing those laws are the most capable person. They are smart, they are royal, they are noble. Okay, the next sentence. 凯替君子，四方为纲. So this is a conclusion. Those outstanding, very powerful, mighty laws, they are the rules for the whole country. 四方 represent is the alternative to call the whole country everywhere. And 纲, the original meaning is the main rod of the fish net. So when you pull the main rope, main cord of the fish net, the fish net will behave as your wish. So that would derive the meaning as a law, the rules. So this sentence basically means those mighty laws, they are the rules of the country, or they rule the whole country. So it's all the praising word to those laws. So the fifth and sixth paragraph, basically, they are the description of those mighty laws, those powerful, outstanding laws in this tour. And it's a praise, and it's also tell us those laws, first thing first, they are the examples of the people, and they are the rules of the people of the country. Okay, the next paragraph. 凤凰于飞，会会其羽，以及原旨. The phoenix was flying, and it waved its wings with the sound of hui hui, and it's gathered together and stop over there. So the phonics is a very, very special image in the Chinese culture. So it was one of the 4 divine creatures. So the phonics. Another is Lin. It cannot be translated into the English. Dragon, the 3rd dragon, and turtle. So these 3 creatures, the ancient Chinese believe they are the real creatures, not some of the fiction, by imagination. They are real creatures, and they are half divine, half creature. And when talk about those 4 divine creatures, it's almost like talk something of heaven. So there's some of the examples here. Let's see, dragon. So most of the time the dragon was the symbol for China or for Chinese, but actually in the ancient China, dragon was one of the symbol for a king. And phonics is the same, is the symbol of a king, of the emperor. And the folk story about Zhou dynasty was because there is a phonics was sitting on the hill on the Zhou plateau, the ancestral home of Zhou described in this poem, right? So at the King Wen's time, the first king of Zhou, everybody saw the phonics was sitting and in the hill, and which was described by this poem, the Zigzag Mountains, the North Mountains. So you can, from here, you will know how important this place it was, because the heaven shows delivered a message by the phonics singing on the hill. The whole story was the signal from the heaven to the Zhou people that you are the king state with virtue, and you should rule the whole country. You should be the king. And by this folk story, or by the phonics sitting on the hill, the first king, King Wen, he ascended the throne, and he claimed he was by the mandate of heaven. So he became a king, and with this privilege, he can fight against the previous dynasty. Actually, at the King Wen's time, the previous dynasty was still the king for the whole country. And so the King Wen claimed, I hear the phonics singing, and heaven delivered a clear message to me that I should be the king, and you are not legal anymore. So I have the rights to defeat you and ascend to the crown. So the phonics, this hill, the Quan, is with the most significance to the Zhou people, to the later kings, to the later Zhou generations. The most significant, with most importance, image or symbol for the Zhou people. So let me give another example how the 4 divine creatures importance. So there is a creature so-called as Lin. You can see the picture, and before, just months before the Confucius dies, he heard he heard a creature of Lin was captured and killed not far from his place. And Confucius interpreted this story as a very, very bad signal from the heaven that the mandate is over. The current mandate is over. So that's the signal by the divine creature Lin gave to Confucius. So with this philosophy keep in mind, and the poem described the phoenix was flying over there and waving its wings. So it's a very, very lucky, fortunate signal to the people that the mandate is still with us. The divine phoenix is still flying. So it's a real sense of the time, or it's just an imagination by the poet. Actually, it's hard to tell, but from my understanding, I would rather to believe it's a real sense when these lords with the king of Zhou, they touring around at this ancestral hometown. They saw this divine phoenix flying. And also for the wordings, there's a saying that Feng is the male phoenix, Huang is a female phoenix, but I don't think so. The Feng is the phoenix, and because it's half divine, it's half creature, people normally don't care about it's a male or a female, but normally it's will take it as a male phoenix for granted. But normally people don't think about that aspect. And Huang, very clearly, the emperor. So they share the same character. Huang means bright, big. So normally that's the alternative term for the king, for the emperor, or it's the adjective for the king, for the emperor, like the magnificent, the majesty, the most glorious king. So the Huang, in the meaning, in its original meaning, it means most bright, most big. So it's in my idea, it's an adjective to describe the king. Okay, the next sentence. 皑王多吉事，为君子使，媚于天子. So it's about the group, all the lords touring with the king. So the king has so many fortunate lords. 吉事, the fortunate lords, another term, alternative term to call the lord, to call 君子. 为君子使, so they are the ambassadors of the king, and they are pleased. They pleased the king as well. So the seventh paragraph actually goes to the real point by referring or by describing the phoenix was flying. It's first thing first implied that the Zhou dynasty was the mandate of heaven, and the messenger was that phoenix, and that messenger was flying today, current time, and which means the mandate of Zhou was still very strong and authentic. And then it described the laws. They are the they are the hands of the king, and they please the king as well. Okay, the 8th paragraph basically is rather identical to the 7th paragraph. 凤凰于飞，会会其羽，以复于天. The phoenix was flying and it's waving its wings with the sound 会会. 会会 is the sound simulation words. 以复于天, so 复 is support, so, or attached to. 师傅 master, 师傅 师 is to teaching something. 复 is to support someone. So in the Chinese logic, or in the Chinese philosophy, the master is not only a teacher, but he's also a supporter to his students. So here, 以复于天 means the phoenix was attached, was supporting the heaven, which means the phoenix was under the heaven. He's the messenger, right? Of course, he's under the heaven, and he was above us all, even above the king. The phoenix was between the heaven and the king. So here actually gave the phoenix a more noble sense, gave him a more praise. And this is it's the lucky bird. This is a fortunate bird, and our fortune is all by this messenger, by this phoenix. So it's all the praising. Okay, the next sentence. 皑皑王多吉人，为君子命，媚于蜀人. So our king has so many fortunate laws, and they are all named by the king. 为君子命, 命 is order, to give order, to name. So all the laws is under the king. They are named by the king. They are assigned by the king, and they pleased all the public people. So the 7th and 8th paragraph basically gave us a very clear political structure in the Zhou dynasty. The mandate is from heaven through the phoenix, and the king has the laws are under the king, and they are the ambassador. They are the hands, the feet of the king, and they are pleased by the king. And in the 8th paragraph, it extends to the public that all these laws are assigned, are named by the king. So the king gave the power, gave the rights, share his rights to those laws, and those laws will extend the fortune, the luck, the rights to the majority public. So they are the real rules, they are the real power to manage the people, and the people are pleased by those laws. So all these reflected a very peaceful, very happy Zhou dynasty. The king are happy, the phoenix are happy, the lords are very happy, and all the people are very happy. So what a nice time. Okay, the 8th paragraph. 凤凰鸣矣，于彼高岗. The phoenix was singing a song on that high hill. So by the previous background, we know that the phoenix is the lucky bird, is the messenger, and today at this very moment the phoenix sing again like the time of King Wen, the time of the first king. So the mandate is still belongs to the Zhou dynasty, and we are very, very fortunate and lucky. And by these sentences, it gave us more details. Even you don't have you have never been to this place, you will connect this phonics with the high hill together. So they are in the same picture. And if you know a little more, they are the North Mountains. They are Gaogang. It's not Mount Gang is hill. Gaogang is a high hill. So they are not mountains. So if you have ever been to this place, you would very clear that the phonics was on the North Mountains rather than the South Mountains. The South Mountains is very, very big, giant mountains. You cannot call it as Gaogang, as a high hill. Okay, the next sentence. 梧桐生矣，予彼朝阳. The Wutong tree grows prosperously on that hill. It faced the morning sun, 朝阳, the morning sun. The tree of Wutong believed to be a very, very valuable and divine tree, because the phonics only stays on this tree rather than other type of trees. And the Wutong is also the key material for the musical instrument, 琴瑟. So this very clearly recorded in the history book. So this tree was sort of the half divine trees, and also the sound actually gave a strong implication. Our people, we are together. 吾 us, 同 together. So this actually is also, I do believe, gave us a very, very strong implication that the heaven is over there. It gives the fortune message, lucky message to us by the phonics. And we are the people, we are standing on the ground, we are on this hill, we are the trees, we are deeply rooted on the earth, and we are together, and we are the footsteps, we are the foothold of the phonics, and we are facing the morning sun, which also implies the Zhou dynasty just started. It's the early Zhou dynasty. Okay, the next sentence. 本本戚戚，庸庸邪邪. So this is all the sort of the 连绵词 we shared. 本本戚戚, by the radical, we don't know quite much about what meaning of this four character 本本戚戚, but by the radical is grass, so we know this is describing the Wutong tree, the trees, the green trees. So very likely it is telling the tree is strong and prosperous and was very, very many, and they are in a dance, very prosperous together. And 庸庸邪邪 is very likely describing the phonics. It should not be just one phonics. 凤凰, the most big phonics, and very likely there are many small phonics together, and they are crowded, 庸庸 crowded, and their looks big and giant. 邪邪, they are crowded together, but in a harmony way. So this is all the true values, the key values for the Zhou people. The country was very populated. That's a very, very key value. And the people are in a harmony. So that's the second key value for the Zhou people. So you can see from this simple point, it almost touched every corner of the key values of the Zhou people, and it also records the history, the mandate of the Zhou dynasty. The last paragraph, the 10th paragraph. 君子之车，既熟且多. The Lord's chariot are so many and so crowded. So there are two adjectives to describe the chariots. One is 熟, the other is 多. 多 means many. And normally 熟 also means many, but here they would never repeat the adjective in the poem. So 熟 very likely use its original meanings, that the same family people gathered together. So it's later derived the meaning to many. A lot of people gathered together. Of course it's many. But the very original meaning is the same family people, they gathered together in the same room. So here, 既熟且多 means they are very crowded, and also it tell us or indicate they are with the same family name. So because they are all the lords and with the king, so they are all the descendants of the first king. Okay, the next sentence. 君子之马，既闲且驰. The horses of the lords, they are very in a leisurely running, and sometimes they are rushing very fast. So this tells us, or this correspond to the first paragraph, that they have a very happy touring at their ancestral home, Zhou Plateau, and they make this tour with leisure, never in a hurry. Sometimes they have a little rush running with their horses, and most of the time they just walk very slowly with chattings or with some drink or with some jokings. So it's a very happy and enjoyable tour. Okay, the last sentence. 世事不多，唯以逐歌. The oaths could not be made twice, so we end it with this song. 诗, we have analysis. This is a borrowed word, or it's a word with very, very strong implication. 诗 is also the means to make an oath, to promise. So at the first paragraph, it tells us very clearly they come here to make their oath to the heaven, to the ancestors. And at the very end of this poem, he just ramp up. We make our oath, the only oath, because you cannot make two oaths. So the character 多 in these sentences actually use the very, very original meaning, which means double. From the shape, the two radicals is same, and they doubled, repeated. So the very original meaning means double. So 世事不多 means we never double our oaths. We just make our oaths one count and once, and we ended our oath with this song. So this song is the oath to the heaven, to their ancestor, to King Wen. So by my video, what's oath they made to the heaven, to their ancestors. What do you say? Okay, that's for today. Bye-bye.